The Denver Nuggets are unable to finish out the game. No Jamal Murray, and for a while in the fourth quarter, it looked like it wasn't going to be a problem. But when the Nuggets needed an offense to be set in a two-man game and an action to get into, they simply could not generate enough looks. The Minnesota Timberwolves pull away with the victory, even though they were down 10 points at some point in the fourth quarter. The Nuggets overcame a 12-point deficit in the fourth quarter. Aaron Gordon had to go back to the 5. There are some things that are to be looked at and praised and celebrated, but there's some issues the Nuggets are truly going to have to fix about their bench, because this is now the 5th time I'm going to be talking to you about the bench, and yet the issues still remain. Y'all know what time it is. Swipa gang, let's get it. The Denver Nuggets lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves 116-119 in a game, honestly, that was for the history books, man. This is one of the great series that we get in the NBA. The Denver Nuggets and Minnesota Timberwolves do not like each other. And I wouldn't even say it's like a real animosity. It's just they have played so many times. The ESPN recorded noted to Anthony Edwards at the end of the game that the Nuggets and the Wolves over the last 2 seasons have played 21 times. 21 times. 2 years, they played 21 times. That's just a lot of basketball. And so when you play multiple series versus each other, you're in the same division, in the same conference. That is just a lot of opportunity to kind of find out exactly who everybody is. I mean, you know how everybody plays at that point. You know what people like to do. You know how people like to move motion, all that other stuff. And there's so many things to get into. You know, the number one thing is Jamal Murray left this game with concussion-like symptoms. So what happens is he's about to set a down screen for Nikola Jokic on just a standard play that they run pretty typically. And he's already running up to Julius Randle, like, you know, pretty fast. And so Anthony Edwards, as most people do when they're getting ready to set a screen, he puts both hands on Jamal Murray's back as if to send Jamal Murray to the place he wants him to go for defensive purposes. And because of where Jamal's head is, like he lunges forward a little bit, he ends up connecting with Julius Randle's shoulder. It wasn't like a dirty play at all, but this stuff happens like every play when you're trying to initiate contact at the point of contact, when you're having a screen take actions and you're trying to figure out, okay, is it going to get a slip? Like, we want to make sure that we're covering this correctly. And so Jamal Murray goes out, but the Nuggets, man, they truly put on a great performance, man. Like, their ability to just come back into this game despite all the stuff they had to deal with. Now, it starts with the starters. Nikola Jokic tonight, 40 minutes played, 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 13 assists. 26, 9, and 13, 8 of 16 from the field. He was 2 of 3 from the three-point line. He was 8 of 10 from the free throw line, had 1 block, had 3 steals, 3 turnovers, didn't have a turnover until I think the 4th. Russ didn't read the play right and ended up coming down instead of staying in the spot. And then he was a +6 in this game. And you're going to see a common theme here with the starters. Nikola Jokic, great game, 26, 9, 13, +6. Michael Porter Jr., 39 minutes played, 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists for Michael Porter, 11 of 18 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 steals. He was a -5 with the stagger, though. It wasn't because of Mike that they were in a minus. They were in a minus because of a stagger. But Porter played excellent, especially in the second half, man. His shot making was incredible today, and it really made the difference between them being in the game and them getting blown out. And so credit Michael Porter Jr. The last 2 games, his shooting has come back, and it's made a really big difference for the Nuggets. He was hitting pull-up threes in transition. He was very active, getting to the ball with 2 steals today. Great game from Michael Porter, best of the season so far. Aaron Gordon, 38 minutes played, 31 points and 11 rebounds and 2 assists. He was 11 of 18 from the field and 5 of 7 from 3, including heady tween, step backs, side step, movement threes, all kind of stuff. 4 or 5 from the free throw line, 1 steal, and he was a +8. And I'm going to talk about Aaron Gordon here in a little bit. Christian Braun, man, it just continues to show that, like, this is the right decision. This is Calvin Booth's best decision. There's a lot of things he did not do right and did not get right, but his best decision was drafting Christian Braun 21 in 2022. Because he had 14 points on 36 minutes, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists. He was 5 of 11 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. And he had a plus 13, a team high plus 13 tonight, and absolutely had the dunk of the year for the Denver Nuggets on Julius Randle today. I'm talking about ended the Eiffel Tower. Just an amazing play from him. And he helped them to recapture the momentum in the fourth quarter. And again, the Nuggets should have won this game. They really, even without Jamal, they should have. They were up double. They got up 10 at one, like 9 to 7 point, whatever. Nickeil Alexander-Walker made back-to-back three-pointers. But ultimately, man, this was a game they let get away. But there's some things that happened down the stretch of the game that point directly to why they lost. But Christian was excellent. Jamal Murray, only 22 minutes played tonight, 6-2-3. He was only 2 of 7 from the field. He was 2 of 4 from 2 of 2 from the free throw line, had a steal. He was also a plus 8 in his minutes today. So the common theme here is that the Denver Nuggets starters were dominant. They were dominant. Anthony Edwards was 29-4-4 on 11 of 23 and 7 of 14. He was a plus 5. Julius Randle, 23, 6 and 7. He was a minus 14. Rudy Gobert, 17, 14 and 3, minus a plus 7. Mike Conley, 9 and 5, plus 10. And Jaden McDaniels at 10. He was a minus 29. The Nuggets dominated the starter minutes. When the Timberwolves saw the bench unit, they were absolutely going haywire versus the bench unit. Now, Russell Westbrook, I will say this. Russell had a very good defensive game. He had a block on Mike Conley. He was D'ing up against Julius Randle in the post. He was everywhere. Russell Westbrook had 5, 6, and 5. He had 2 steals and a block today. And he had some really important plays. And so I want to highlight that Russ did do that. And Russ also was about helping him capture the momentum inside of the second half and in the fourth quarter. But the problem is Russ being in at the end of the game, it really affects the way the court is laid out for Joker. And by nature of his deficiencies offensively, he made life more difficult for Joker. And it's not something that he meant to do, but it's just because there's no reason to guard Russ as a real threat offensively. But on this game, 25 minutes played from Russ. As good as he played in the second half and in the fourth quarter at times, he was a minus 13. He was a minus 18 in the first half. And then he was a minus 13, meaning he was a plus 5 in the second half. Again, he helped them to get back into the game. But Russ, 1 of 8 from the field is just simply, it's untenable. 0 of 3 from 3, it's untenable. Russ has to at least hit 3 of 8 shots, 3 of 7 shots. It has to happen. Now, Russ made 3 of 4 free throws today, and so you appreciate that he's making a good amount of his free throws this year. But in order for the Nuggets to be just passable in Joker minutes, Russ has to be a more efficient scorer because he is the one with the ball in his hands more than anybody else on the team. So he has to do it. Julian Straw today, only 4 points, 0 of 2 from 3, 1 of 4 from the field. He was a minus 13 in his minutes. Got a lot of fouls too, just, was playing out of control. Russ and Julian Strawther, by the way, they have gotten – so when teams run like a switch with Russ and with Strawther, I have noted at least 4 times this year where Julian and Russ are primarily responsible for guarding the switch. And their miscommunication has led directly to wide open buckets or advantageous opportunities for the other team offensively. And today happened again multiple times, and it led to a downhill play for Mike Conley at one point. So they have to figure out their communication. It's really just that simple. They have to figure out their communication because they can't keep letting that kind of stuff happen. Peyton Watson today has not found his rhythm this year. 2 points, minus 9. Hunter Tyson had to play 6 minutes today, y'all. He had to play 6 minutes. He's 2 points, 1 rebound. He was a plus 1. So, and again, y'all, this is going to be a broken record, but I don't care. I think that this is irresponsible by the Denver Nuggets. I think it's irresponsible by Calvin Booth. I think Malone has a responsibility to Jokic, has a responsibility to the starters. Jokic is averaging 39 minutes a year right now because he doesn't have somebody that can play behind him. Dario Saric, 5 minutes today. 5 minutes. 2 rebounds. 0 of 3 from the field. 0 of 2 from 3. And he had 1 foul, or no fouls, but he was a minus 11. He was 0 of 3 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, and in 5 minutes was a minus 11 because he cannot play on this team. Dario Saric cannot play offense on this team. Dario is not a scorer. He's getting dominated on the inside. He cannot rebound at a high level. His defense is horrendous. Rudy Gobert cooking him. Ivica Zubac cooking him. Naz Reid cooking him. Chris Dunn cooking him. He got a $5.3 million contract with a second option, and all he is doing is making life more difficult for Joker. That's it. He's not doing anything except putting more stress on the starters. And so I'm not gonna keep pretending, and I'm not gonna let people gaslight me. This is unbelievable. Like, I don't care what it is, bro. Like, if you have issues with this, including you, Kane, go somewhere else. Like, I'm being 100%. Go somewhere else if you don't want to listen to this. If you're a Sarge fan and you don't want to hear it, then there might be another place for you. But I'm not going to be just tiptoeing around a clear issue. Dario Saric has literally been an objective failure. He's been an objective failure. At least, I can look at Russell Westbrook and say he's putting effort forth. I can look at him and saying he's making defensive plays. And I still don't think he's been good. I still don't think that he has been good. But on the other end of this, there's nothing redeemable. Dario Saric has played this whole season in stints and has not had a single positive stint in 5 games. And let me tell you how bad it is, because it's not just about Saric. It's not just about one player playing and what they're not doing and how they're not living up to their performance. It's the fact that Aaron Gordon in games 3 and games 4 and game 5 are having to play this backup center position at the start of the regular season in the second half of games because Dario Saric is that bad that Michael Malone will put him out on the court and they will see it's an abject failure. And he is not an NBA player on this roster. And then he's a minus 11, and the only way to salvage it is to play your power forward, who already has 10,000 jobs to do, to play backup center. And the franchise is telling me that we need to somehow have no faith in Zeke Nachi. Excuse my yelling, y'all. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The issue is that we're in a situation where the Nuggets are trying their darnest to just make it work. It's trying their darnest to make it work. What I don't understand is that why are we in a situation where we're struggling this badly to field a competent bench when the starters already played 450 plus minutes more than anybody last year, and the whole point was to make it easier. And now all it is that they're playing more minutes earlier than they did last year. What? And everybody's saying, and again, I'm going to be very clear about this. Nikola Jokic, down the stretch of the game, he could have been more aggressive as a scorer, but let me explain exactly what was happening. The way the Timberwolves were playing it, they had Russell Westbrook, Christian Brown, Michael Porter, and Aaron Gordon on the court with Joker. Every time Joker touched the ball down the stretch of the game, they would double. It was an automatic double, show, double, help off. And so Joker, he had a chance to get a floater or to pivot off of Rudy and to get a right-handed fadeaway. But he didn't take it because it wasn't the best shot at the time for him. And then he passed it out to Christian Brown, who was not shot ready. The issue is that even if Jamal Murray isn't playing as well as people hope, Jamal Murray functionally gives them an identity at the end of the game. And you can't just double off a Joker at the end of a game because Jamal's there. And Jamal can, you better absolutely believe, hit any shot you give him inside of that clutch situation because he's been doing that over the course of his career. And so in the fourth quarter, everything got adjusted. They dominated the waves upon waves upon waves. They were hitting shots. They were getting to the free throw line. But once Minnesota decided with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, let me tag it. The Nuggets were up 5 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Jokic makes 2 free throws, and from that point on, the game basically was nothing. The Nuggets went on a 25-3 run, and they were up multiple points. But then once Minnesota realized about 2:30 left that they have nothing they can get into except for Joker post-ups, they started doubling, and everything changed. So I do think that they're going to have to figure out, like, another lineup. We'll see how long Murray's out for. They play Utah tomorrow. Russ is going to have to start. Trey Alexander might see time tomorrow. Julian might play more at the point guard position. We saw the Julian Strawther, Christian Brown backcourt with the starters today. I think they're gonna have to learn how to use that more because Russ has good defensive plays, but they're so bad. They're so bad offensively with Russ on the court that they're going to have to get like Julian Strawther minutes at the point guard position or Trey Alexander or someone else because you cannot on the offensive end not have another guard that can get into an action and get a shot. And Russ cannot do that. He's proven he can't do it, and there's no reason to ask him to do it because he literally cannot do it. So I really love to see that Russ is having good defensive moments, but at the end of the day, like, he's not playing well. And I know that's hard to hear for some people. Dario is not playing well at all. Peyton's not playing well. Strawther, he is turned into basically a pure spot-up shooter in many instances, and I don't think his usage is high enough. Like, he needs to have the ball more because he has to figure out his game. Like, the Nuggets are in this place where they're trying to develop talent, but then because the talent isn't ready, and they're also trying to win a championship, their talent is being subverted by old players who are better and just more capable and more trustworthy, but then now they're not developing because they don't have the ball in their hands or there's purely off-ball players with Russ. And so I'm saying that, like, there is no this true reality thing is so crazy to me. You already have 5 rookie contracts. But then now you got Zeke Naji he's making $8 million. He's your 5th highest paid contract, and you're not playing him. And you have Sarge, who you give 5.3 to, where you could have given that to Chris Dunn easily. And it'd been way more worth it to this team. But somehow, this is what I don't understand. How did you go into an offseason knowing you need more athletes and POA defenders on this roster than you need anything else? You could easily a bargain min 5. Zeke is already here. DJ's on the roster. Go get a cheap one and just don't give him 5. And you gave him 5, and he cannot play. So the money usage for this team, makes no sense because you can't say on one end we're trying to avoid the second apron, but we're going to pay Porter, which he deserved. We're going to pay Gordon, which he deserved. You're going to play Jamal, which he deserved. You're going to pay Jokic, which he obviously deserves. But then on the other end, you're going to try to avoid cap constraints by not allowing KCP to resign for a $22 million deal, and he's not worth $22 million. You see what he's doing in with the Magic. He's a really good player, but he's not worth $22 million, and I get that. But on the other end, you know you're limited with your money, and the money you hand out to are players that cannot play basketball or are not in the rotation. So just from a common sense thing, like from an understanding standpoint, why would you put yourself in a situation where the players that you need to perform are either iffy, they fell out of rotations in other places, or 1,000% they're not getting minutes on this team right now in Zeke Naji? Zeke has to play. I'm not doing the Sarge nonsense no more. Has to play. This Clippers game was lost because of the bench. The Wolves game was lost because of the bench. The Thunder, they just got outplayed. But they were playing really well in the first quarter for the Thunder game, 19-10. Then all of a sudden the bench started coming in, and then everything fell apart. So we're really just at this place again. And I'm staring at the team, and I'm staring at the roster. And I'm saying to myself, well, I'm watching a computer and a television, and I'm telling you that's not working. But Malone has to try to make it work because Calvin paid him. And then the ESPN article comes out today, and it's like, Calvin Booth definitely going to get re-signed, basically. The vision's great. It works. It's up to Malone to make the youth work. And I'm just sitting here like, what youth? A 30th overall pick in Peyton Watson, who I think will get better. I think he will get there. It's going to take time. A 21st overall pick in Christian Brown. Okay. A 29th overall pick in Julian Strother. Okay. 32nd and 37th pick in Hunter Tyson and Jalen Pickett. No. Jalen Pickett's in the G League now. And they traded up to get him. Deron Holmes, I get it. Towards Achilles. But boy, I'm just trying to understand the vision. Because the starters have been dominant this year. Dominant minutes from the starters this year. But you cannot take them out of the game. Y'all read this. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has a 2-year, $4.5 million deal. 2-year, $4.5 million deal. They got him for nothing from the Utah Jazz. Nothing. Dario Saric is making more money than that man and literally is an unplayable asset. But Nickeil Alexander-Walker helped them win the game today for $4.5 million. But I'm crazy for saying, they don't have the money. They don't have this. No, it's just your usage. It's how you're using what you have. It's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. And I, for one, am not going to be the one to say, situation. Joker's currently averaging 30.4 points a game, 11.6 rebounds, 10 assists, 1.6 steals, 1.2 blocks, 39 minutes a game, 56% from the field, 56.5% from three, 78% from the line, 66.5 true shooting. But they're 2-3 because their bench is literally deplorable. They're 2-3 because their bench is deplorable. So it's frustrating. Obviously, hope Jamal Murray gets healthy. Aaron Gordon, exceptional game today. Exceptional. Michael Porter Jr., exceptional game today. Christian Brown, another exceptional game. He's been good 5 out of 5 games, which I couldn't have told you that was going to be the case. 5 out of 5 games, he's been good. Jokic is the best player in the world. He's clearing everyone. Yeah, I talked about that. Somebody asking about Jokic in the final plays. I did talk about that. I said that I think Joker made the right play. That's just the basketball play. It's the same thing LeBron did, where LeBron passed out to Kyle Korver. It's very similar. Like, it's just he saw an opportunity for Christian if he was shot ready to be able to get a shot up. But look, that's just what it is. I think that he could have been more aggressive there if he wanted to, but I mean, I understand it. It's just the way the court was laid out. But like I said, it's difficult too if you're not out there. And this is what I'm saying. Jokic's scared to shoot in the clutch. Do you know he's the most efficient high volume scorer in the clutch so far this year? Like, I just want to be clear about this. You realize that Jokic has scored 30 plus points in the clutch this year on like great efficiency. I just want you to understand that. Because everybody's just yapping like right now because it's like, I know other fan bases are here like trolling and all that stuff. But at least if you're going to troll, just be correct. But, I get it for sure. But anyway, y'all, we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do. They definitely need to make a trade. They need to add a bench player. I'm tired of watching Dario Saric. Russell Westbrook, good moments, but ultimately, if I had to grade his performance, hasn't been good enough. Like, if I had to grade his performance, he's been bad. And he's had good moments, but overall bad. That has to change. He's not hitting any of his shots right now. His defense is good, but they need you to score, especially if you're going to play the amount of minutes you're playing and have the ball in your hands. That would have to happen. So, y'all hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Y'all know what time it is. Swipa gang. I'll see y'all on the other side.